I plunged the knife into her thigh before the words even left her smirking lips, the blade sinking warm and wet like it was always meant to find that spot. Blood sprayed the linoleum in a perfect arc, and for a split second, her eyes widened, not in pain, but in the raw shock of realizing I'd finally stopped calculating and started collecting. 20 years of faked smiles and forged ledgers. And it all boiled down to this, her scream echoing through the canned goods aisle, while I whispered, "Math doesn't lie, Lisa." People do. They say numbers don't lie. But people? People are the goddamn architects of deception, building empires on falsified columns that crumble under the slightest audit. I should know. My name's Evelyn Harper, and for 3 decades, I was the quiet spine holding up the books at Midland Financial in Des Moines, Iowa, a Midwestern powerhouse of mortgages and mergers where the air smelled like stale coffee and broken promises. I wasn't the flashy type, no corner office with a view of the cornfields, just a desk in the back with a calculator that clicked like a metronome to my heartbeat. But I was good. Damn good. The kind of good that kept CEOs out of federal orange jumpsuits and employees like me in steady paychecks. It started unraveling on a Tuesday in 2003. The kind of gray-skied day where the Iowa wind whips through your coat like it's got a grudge. I'd been pulling an all-nighter reconciling the offshore accounts, shell companies nested like Russian dolls, funneled through Cayman trusts that made my stomach turn. That's when I found it, a $2.7 million discrepancy, siphoned into a ghost account tied to none other than Harlan Voss, our golden boy VP. Harlan, with his Ivy League grin and whispers of a Senate run, the man who'd patted my back at the company Christmas party like I was his lucky charm. But the numbers whispered darker. Kickbacks from subprime lenders, cooked to feed his mistress's shoe habit and his own re-election slush fund. I didn't confront him. Not yet. I printed the ledgers, hid them in my desk drawer under a stack of Post, and drove home to my split level on Elm Street, where my husband, Tom, was frying walleye in the kitchen. Tom, the high school math teacher who'd married me for my logical mind and stayed for the way I balanced our checkbook like it was poetry. We ate in silence that night, the fish flaking under my fork as I stared at the wall, calculating risks. Report it, and Harlan's machine would grind me to dust. Whispers of embezzlement, planted evidence, a swift pink slip followed by a lifetime of unemployable. Stay quiet. And I'd be complicit in whatever house of cards he was building. By morning, I decided, copy the files to a USB, stash it in our safety deposit box at First Iowa Bank. Tom didn't need to know, he'd worry. Pace the living room in his slippers, quoting Pythagoras like it could fix fraud. But as I kissed him goodbye, his mustache tickling my cheek, promising meatloaf for dinner, the phone rang. It was Mark, our son, calling from Chicago. Mom, I got the job. Junior analyst at Voss Enterprises, Harlan's firm. Starts next month. My blood froze. Mark, fresh out of Iowa State with his business degree and that boyish optimism. The kid who'd once cried when he couldn't solve for X in algebra. Harlan's firm. The same Harlan whose secrets I'd just unearthed. I drove to work with the radio off, the dashboard clock ticking like a bomb. Harlan was in the boardroom when I arrived, schmoozing investors over Danish pastries. He spotted me through the glass, waved me in with that salesman charm. Evelyn, darling, join us. Mark's starting soon. Family discount on the soul selling. Laughter rippled around the table, and I forced a smile, sliding into a chair. That's when it hit me. Harlan had pulled strings for Mark. A favor wrapped in nepotism. Loyalty.
He called it.
Leverage. I knew. Weeks blurred into audits and alibis. Mark moved back home temporarily, crashing in his old room with posters of the Cubs peeling at the edges. He talked nonstop about the job, bonuses, stock options, how Harlan was like a mentor. I nodded, stirring soup on the stove, the USB burning a hole in my purse. Tom sent something off, one night. As we lay in bed, he murmured, "You're carrying the weight again."
Ev.
Let me help.
이러고 over?
Buried my face in his chest. It's just numbers.
Tom.
They'll add up. They didn't. In November, the feds raided Midland, subprime scandal exploding like a bad batch of fireworks. Harlan vanished to a non-extradition island, but not before the trail led back to me. Emails forged in my name, timestamps manipulated, ledgers altered with my login. Creative accounting, the prosecutor sneered in court. A balding prick from Des Moines with a tie that screamed taxpayer dollars. I stared at the jury, housewives and farmers who eyed me like I'd poisoned their well water. Mark testified on my behalf. Voice cracking, my mom's honest. She'd never. But the evidence was ironclad.
Or so they said.
Tom died 3 months into my sentence, heart attack in the prison waiting room, clutching a letter I'd written about the meatloaf recipe. Mark visited weekly, his eyes hollow, blaming the stress. We'll appeal.
Mom.
Lisa says we can fight it.
Lisa.
That's when she entered the frame, Mark's fiancée. A sharp-elbowed paralegal from the city, with bottle blonde hair and a laugh like breaking glass. She met him at a bar during my trial, swooped in like a hawk on roadkill. "I'm here to help," she cooed at the first visit, her manicured nails tapping the plexiglass. But her eyes? They scanned the room like she was pricing the fixtures. Parole came after 12 years. In 2015. I emerged into a world of smartphones and craft IPAs. The Iowa sun mocking my pallor. Mark picked me up in a sensible Honda. Lisa in the passenger seat, her belly just starting to show. "Welcome home, Evelyn," she said, handing me a bouquet of wilted daisies. "We've got the basement ready." It's cozy.
Cozy.
A euphemism for the damp corner of their McMansion in West Des Moines, where the furnace rattled like dying breaths and the Wi-Fi barely reached. Mark had climbed the ladder at what was left of Voss Enterprises, rebranded, sanitized, with Lisa as the in-house counsel. She was the star now, the one who saved the firm from my mistake. At night, I'd hear them upstairs, her voice pitching higher. "Babe, your mom's great."
But.
The optics. Mark shushing her. Footsteps on the stairs. I'd pretend to sleep. Fingers tracing the scars on my wrists from the prison laundry, reminders that some debts accrue interest. Life settled into a rhythm of resentment. I'd grocery shop on Tuesdays, when the store on 86th was least crowded, pushing a cart through aisles that smelled of bleach and regret. Mark worked late. Lisa hosted book clubs with women who eyed my prison ink like it was contagious. Vintage, one giggled once, after I'd rolled up my sleeve to reach for the top shelf. I smiled, teeth gritted. Numbers, I reminded myself. They wait. It was a Thursday in June 2025 when the hook sank deep. I'd been at Hy-Vee, calculating coupons in my head, buy one get one on the canned tuna. Clip the app for an extra quarter off. My cart was half full. Off-brand cereal for Mark, organic kale for Lisa's wellness phase, and a frozen lasagna because Tom used to make it from scratch. The line was short. Just me and a mom with a toddler gnawing on a teething ring. Then she breezed in Lisa, in yoga pants and a Lululemon top, her hair in a ponytail that screamed effortlessness. She didn't see me at first, scanning her phone for deals. But when our carts bumped, mine with the wonky wheel, she looked up, and that smile cracked like thin ice. Evelyn? Oh, God. What are you doing here?
Iman, E.
The cashier rang me up. Total $47.82. I handed over my card, the one with the chipped edge from years in a drawer. It declined. Once.
Twice.
Sweat beaded on my neck. The line behind us shifted. Lost in the math again. Huh. Lisa said it loud enough for the mom to hear, her laugh tinkling like wind chimes in a hurricane. Remember that time in court? All those zeros you couldn't add. The toddler stared. The cashier averted her eyes. Heat flooded my face, not shame, but the slow burn of a fuse reignited. I met Lisa's gaze. Saw the flicker, triumph, then pity, then boredom. She swiped her own card for her kale and kombucha, $18.47.
No sweat.
I left the store with nothing but the weight of her words. The card abandoned like a confession. Driving home in Mark's old pickup, my welcome home gift, I gripped the wheel until my knuckles whitened. Lost in the math. If only she knew. The USB, the real ledgers, they weren't destroyed. I'd buried them deeper than Harlan's sins, in a lockbox under the floorboards of my old house, now rented to some hipster couple brewing kombucha in Tom's garage. That night, as Lisa hummed in the kitchen and Mark scrolled ESPN on the couch, I sat in the basement, dust motes dancing in the bulb's glow. I pulled out my old calculator, the one from Midland, its buttons worn smooth. I punched in the numbers, dates,
Amounts. Names.
Harlan's ghost account. The forged emails traced not to me, but to a IP address pinging from Lisa's old firm. She'd been the paralegal on Harlan's defense team, his fixer, the one who'd planted the seeds while Mark courted her in the shadows of my trial. Betrayal isn't a thunderclap, it's a slow leak. Numbers adding up to ruin. Lisa hadn't just mocked me. She'd built her life on my grave. And as the calculator beeped finality balance, zero tolerance, I knew the audit was coming. My audit. The basement smelled like mildew and mothballs, a tomb for the woman I'd been before the bars slammed shut. I hadn't slept, the Hy-Vee humiliation replaying like a bad VHS tape, Lisa's laugh looping, the cashier's pitying glance etching deeper than any tattoo. Mark had come down after dinner, sandwich in hand, his face creased with that familiar worry.
Mom.
You okay? Lisa said you looked off at the store. Off. Like I was a glitch in his perfect algorithm. I forced a nod, bit into the ham on rye, the bread sticking in my throat. Just tired.
Kiddo.
Old bones. He lingered, shifting weight from loafer to loafer, the uniform of a man who'd traded his dreams for Harlan's shadow. She's stressed too. You know. The baby's kicking like a mule, and work's piling up. Don't take it personal. Personal. As if betrayal ever is. I watched him climb the stairs, his silhouette blocking the light, and wondered when he'd stop seeing me as mom and started as liability. Alone again. I dragged the old Dell laptop from under the bed, contraband from prison, smuggled in a hollowed Bible courtesy of a guard with a gambling debt. It wheezed to life, fan rattling like Tom's last breath. No internet down here. Lisa had secured the router upstairs,
But I didn't need the web.
I had memory, sharp as a scalpel. I opened Excel, fingers flying over keys worn to translucence. Columns A through Z, dates from 2003, transaction IDs, routing numbers. The ghost account, Alpha 7-9, Harlan's slush fund. I'd memorized it during those endless cell block nights, reciting like scripture to keep sane. Row 47, transfer of $150,000 on October 15th, 03. From Midland to a Delaware LLC, Voss Legal Services. Lisa's first firm. Back when she was Lisa Kensington, ambitious clerk with a law degree from Drake and eyes on the prize. I'd pieced it together in pieces. Post-release, public record searches at the library, whispers from old colleagues who'd friend me on that Facebook thing. Harlan hadn't acted alone. He'd needed a cleaner. Someone to scrub the digital footprints. Lisa, with her paralegal access, had been perfect forging my emails, timestamping them for my terminal during a coffee run she'd orchestrated. But why me? The question gnawed like acid reflux. I wasn't a threat. I was the invisible accountant, the woman who balanced books so others could unbalance lives. Then it clicked. Mid-keystroke, Mark. Harlan had dangled the job like bait. But Lisa? She'd reeled him in. Married the leverage. My fall secured her rise, insurance against any loose ends. And when Harlan bolted, she pivoted, sliding into Voss Enterprises as the hero who rooted out the rot. Rot named Evelyn Harper. The spreadsheet populated, red flags blooming like blood in water. Total embezzled, $4.2 million. My share, 0. But the sentence? 15 years. Commuted to 12 for good behavior. Tom's funeral on a visitor's pass. Mark's wedding photos sent via mail, Lisa in white lace. Him beaming. Oblivious. Or was he? I paused.
Cursor blinking.
Mark's first paycheck deposit, same week as a $5,000 bonus to Lisa's account. Coincidence? In math. No such thing. Upstairs. The floor creaked, Lisa pacing, probably scrolling Zillow for bigger houses, dreaming of the Des Moines suburbs' white picket facade. The baby was due in October. A girl they'd name after Tom's mother.
Grace.
Irony.
That.
Grace, who taught me to quilt and quote Ephesians. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. But the Lord hadn't balanced my books. I would. By dawn, the basement was a war room. I'd sketched a plan on graph paper, stolen from Mark's desk, lines connecting, access Lisa's work email via the shared family PC, password, Mark Lisa forever. Pathetically predictable, reconstruct the ledgers with timestamps, anonymous tip to the Iowa Attorney General's office. Routed through a VPN on the library computer. Revenge wasn't a blaze. It was a controlled burn. Columns adding to conflagration. But first, intel. I needed eyes on her world. Mark left for work at 7:15 sharp. Kissing Lisa goodbye in the foyer, muffled voices. Her coo. His chuckle. I waited 10 minutes, then slipped upstairs. The house silent save for the hum of the fridge. The office was Lisa's domain. Sleek desk. Framed diplomas. A bobblehead of Ruth Bader Ginsburg mocking from the shelf. Her laptop was locked. But the family PC? Open sesame. I logged in, heart thudding like a misfired engine. Emails flooded the inbox, CC to both. Voss board minutes. Client pitches. Baby registry links from Bye Bye Baby. Buried in spam, a thread from Harlan. No, Harlan Voss Jr., his son, now CEO after Daddy's retirement.
Lisa.
Legacy cleanup. Dad's files are clean, but that old Midland ghost still haunts. Torch it if you can. Dated last week. My hands trembled. Torch it. They'd known I was out, known I might talk. And Mark, copied on the chain, unread. Betrayal layered like phyllo dough.
Crisp and cutting.
I forwarded the thread to a burner Gmail, ivarpanon@gmail.com, subject, The Real Math. Attached, screenshot of the ledger snippet.
Send.
The whoosh echoed in my skull. Small steps. Evelyn. But as I logged out, the front door clicked. Lisa home early.
Yogebæslung over shoulder.
I froze. Mouse hovering. Footsteps in the hall. Her voice on the phone. Yeah.
Babe.
Tell Evelyn dinner's on me tonight. Make it up for the store thing. Laughter. Light and lethal. She entered the kitchen, oblivious, pouring kombucha into a glass that clinked like a countdown. I slipped down the back stairs, pulse racing, the basement door sealing me in shadow. That evening, over takeout Thai, pad CEW congealing on plates, Lisa played the penitent. Evelyn.
About today.
I was out of line. Hormones. You know. Mark nodded, squeezing her hand, their rings glinting under the pendant light. I smiled, fork spearing noodles. Water under the bridge.
Dear.
We're family. Family. The word tasted like bile. As they cleared plates, I excused myself, feigning fatigue. In the basement, the laptop glowed accusation. I'd started the next phase, cross-referencing Voss's current books. Public filings showed irregularities, overstated assets, underreported liabilities. Lisa's signature on the attestations. If I leaked this, tied to the old scandal, it wouldn't just topple her, it'd avalanche the firm. Bury Mark too. Collateral. The math of morality, divide loyalties, multiply pain. Sleep evaded me. Visions of Tom's grave unmarked. To save costs, mingling with Lisa's smirk. At 3 a.m., the house stirred. Creaks overhead. Whispers. I crept to the top stair, ear pressed to wood. Can't risk it. Mark. Your mom's digging. I saw her on the PC.
His voice.
Low. She's harmless. Let it go. Harmless. The word ignited something primal. I retreated, but not before glimpsing her shadow, pacing, phone in hand, dialing a number I couldn't catch. Morning brought rain. Sheets lashing the windows like judgment. Mark kissed us both goodbye. Off to a client meeting in Cedar Rapids. Lisa lingered over coffee, eyes appraising. Evelyn. Wanna help with the nursery? Paint swatches, soft blues. Maybe. Trap or truce. I nodded, following her to the spare room, where drop cloths crinkled underfoot. As she held up samples, Azure Dream, Midnight Whisper, I scanned the desk, planner open to Harlan Jr.'s contact. Circled in red. We painted in fits. Rollers slapping walls. Conversations skating surfaces. Mark's so excited about the baby, she said, dipping into the tray. Says she'll have your smarts with numbers. Smarts. I laughed. A bark that startled us both. Numbers lie too. Sometimes. People make them. She paused. Brush midair. Eyes narrowing. Deep. Evelyn. Prison philosophy. The word hung. Weaponized. I didn't rise. Instead, I smeared blue across the trim. Steady hand. Just math. Lisa. Inputs and outputs. She turned away, but I saw the twitch, fear. Or foresight. By noon, the wall gleamed, a serene facade overwrought. She paid me in compliments, set me down with a pat on the back. You're family now. Family. I'd make sure she felt every digit of that equation. Rain drummed the roof like impatient fingers, turning the backyard into a mud slick that sucked at my boots as I slipped out the sliding door. Lisa was upstairs, shower running, her post-paint ritual, steam curling under the door like secrets escaping. I'd waited for this, the 5-minute window when the water drowned out footsteps. Mark's pickup was gone, the street empty save for a neighbor's lab barking at phantoms. I crossed the lawn, sodden grass soaking my cuffs, to the detached garage where they kept the archives, boxes from Voss, labeled in Lisa's precise script. The lock was a cheap Yale, picked in 30 seconds with a paperclip and the tension wrench I'd fashioned from a hanger. Prison hobbies die hard. Inside, the air was thick with dust and ink, shelves sagging under banker boxes. I flicked on a bare bulb, shadows leaping like accusations. Target, the 2003 folder, if it existed. Harlan's legacy, laundered through time. It did, buried under tax returns, a slim accordion file marked Midland Cleanup. I flipped it open, heart a hammer in my chest. Memos, redacted emails, a deposition transcript. Page 17, Lisa's testimony, sworn under oath. I reviewed MS. Harper's work product. Anomalies were flagged, but she assured me they were clerical.
Lies.
Inked black, but clipped to the back, a post-it, Harlan scrawl. L. Torch the originals. M. Gets the nod. M for Mark. The job. The marriage. All strings pulled by her. For him. Thunder cracked outside, rattling the window. Footsteps? No, rain on tin. I photographed pages with my flip phone, the relic that barely held charge. Flashes blooming harsh. Evidence. Digital breadcrumbs. Then, deeper, a USB drive. Matte black. Labeled contingency. Plugged into the old Dell later that night. It spilled guts, scans of my forged signatures. Metadata showing edits from Lisa's IP. Jackpot. But laced with venom, audio files.
Me?
In interrogation. Voice tinny. I don't know how it happened. Followed by Harlan's. Post-raid. The old bat takes the fall. Lisa. You're gold. Gold. She'd mined my ruin for her ring. I ejected the drive. Pocketed it. Relocked the garage as water sluiced down my neck. Back inside. Towel drying in the laundry room. I heard her. Evelyn? You out in this mess? Voice from the kitchen. Casual as cyanide. Grabbing air, I called, peeling off wet layers. She appeared in the doorway. Robe belted loose. Hair damp. Weird day for walk. Find anything interesting? Her eyes. Cool as the paint we'd slathered. Fishing. Or knowing. Just memories, I said, hanging socks on the line. Tom used to fix the truck out there. Sympathy flickered real. Or rehearsed. She nodded. Poured tea from the kettle. Mark called. Traffic's hell. Dinner's pizza, your call on toppings. Normalcy. A veil. We ate on paper plates, cheese stretching like lies, talking baby names and Des Moines winters. But under the table, my foot tapped Morse. Contingency. That night, the fractures widened. I'd emailed the photos from the library, anonymous, routed through Tor on the public terminal. The one by the fiction stacks where winos nursed coffees. Recipient, Iowa AG's tip line. Subject, Voss 2.0. Attached, snippets. No full reveal. Probe. Don't pounce. As I hit send, a librarian shushed a teen. The world moved on. Oblivious. Home by 9. The house pulsed with TV glow. Mark and Lisa on the couch. Some Netflix true crime about Ponzi schemes. Irony. Served hot. Join us, Mom. Mark waved a beer. I declined, citing headache. Descended to my crypt. The laptop hummed. Spreadsheet updating. Probability of AG response. 62% based on recent white-collar busts. Variables. Lisa's connections. Harlan Jr. donations. Adjust for bias. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of ledgers bleeding ink. Woke to Mark's alarm. 6 a.m. Sharp. He was in the kitchen when I surfaced. Ty half nodded. Mom. Lisa's got a meeting in Ames. You okay holding down the fort?
Fort.
As if we weren't under siege. I brewed coffee. Black as grudge. Go get son. He left. She followed 20 minutes later. Heels clicking judgment. Alone. I raided her desk. Planner open. Harlan Jr. Meeting circled. Discuss Harper loose end. Loose end.
Me.
Scribbled margin note. Burn backups. My blood iced. She was moving pieces. Anticipating. I needed leverage, immediate. Intimate. The family safe. Bolted in the closet. Combination Mark's birthday. April 12th, 89. Inside. Passports. Deeds. A thumb drive labeled Baby Fund. Plugged in. Spreadsheets of their nest egg. $87,000. Siphoned from Voss bonuses. But anomalies. Withdrawals to an offshore account. Same routing as Alpha 7-9. Lisa. Laundering anew. For the baby? Or escape hatch. I copied it. Left no trace. By afternoon. The rain had cleared. Sun mocking through clouds. I drove to the old house on Elm, rental now. But the landlord, old Mr. Peterson, still owed Tom a favor. Evelyn? Been ages. He handed keys. No questions. The floorboards creaked under my weight. Same spot in the hall. Pry bar from the truck bed. Nails screaming as I lifted. The lockbox, rusted, intact. Inside, the original USB. Ledgers printed on yellowed paper. Relics. Radioactive. Back home. As Lisa's Prius purred into the drive, I stashed it under the spare tire in the truck. Dinner was silent, Mark sensing static. Lisa's smiles tighter than a hangman's knot. Everything good at work? I asked.
Passing the salad.
She forked greens, eyes on her plate.
Peachy.
Just audits. Audits. The word hung. A gauntlet. Post-meal. Mark retreated to emails, Lisa to the office. I lingered in the hall, ear to door. Typing. Furious. Phone ring, low voice. Harlan? It's escalating. She knows.
Pause. No.
Burn it all. Tonight.
Click.
Escalating. My hand on the knob, but I held. Patience. The long division of revenge. Instead, I texted the burner, AG tip 2, with offshore routing.
Send.
Then, to Mark's phone from Tom's old number, spoofed. Son, watch your back. Numbers don't forget. His reply buzzed instant. Mom? That you? WTF. I deleted. Heart pounding. Fractures spreading, trust cracking like drywall under pressure. That week blurred. Baby showers planned. My help solicited for centerpieces. Lisa thawed. Or feigned, baking cookies. Sharing ultrasound pics. Look. Evelyn, her little hands. I cooed. But inside. Equations balanced, her warmth. A firewall. Mark noticed. Pulled me aside one evening in the garage. She's trying.
Mom.
For you. For us.
His eyes.
Pleading. I hugged him, inhaling his aftershave, same as Tom's. I know, baby. I know, but knowledge is a blade. Double-edged. Friday. The AG's office called, burner voice disguised. But they bit.
Ma'am.
Regarding your tips. We'd like to meet. Neutral ground, coffee shop in Ankeny. Monday. I agreed. Anonymous. Saturday. The storm broke, not weather, but domestic. Lisa caught me on the PC again, checking recipes. Her face. Thunder. Evelyn. Boundaries. This is our home.
Our.
I stood.
Slow.
Was mine first.
Dear.
Before your cleanup. The air thickened. She blinked. Mask slipping. What did you say? Math, I replied, stepping close. It audits everything. Her laugh.
Forced.
You're paranoid. Prison does that. But her hand trembled on the mouse. Mark walked in then. Tie loosened. What's going on? We froze. Statues in diorama. Nothing, she chirped.
Kissing his cheek.
Girl talk. That night, as they made love upstairs, creaks rhythmic. Mocking, I lay awake. Contingency drive in hand. Formula fracturing. If she burned backups, I'd ignite the whole damn spreadsheet. Monday morning dawned crisp. The kind of Iowa autumn where leaves crunch under tires like brittle bones. I told Mark I had a doctor's appointment, routine checkup. Nothing to fret. He nodded over cereal. Lisa sipping green juice at the island. Her eyes tracking me like radar. Need a ride? Evelyn? I can cancel spin class. Offer laced with thorns. I'm good.
Dear.
Fresh air clears the head. I grabbed my coat, the one with the deep pockets for the burner phone, and slipped out before her probe deepened. The coffee shop in Ankeny was a chain, Starbucks knockoff with overpriced lattes and baristas who misspelled names. I ordered black. No foam. Took a corner table by the window overlooking strip malls. Agent Ruiz arrived 5 minutes late. Badge clipped discreetly to his belt. Suit rumpled like he'd slept in it. Mid-40s. Latino. With a mustache that screamed cop and eyes that dissected. MS. Harper? Or should I say, Anon? He slid into the booth. Notebook open. Evelyn's fine. I sipped, steam curling. You got my correspondence. He nodded, flipping pages. Old school fraud with a digital twist. Voss, senior and junior, Ring any bells. I feigned sip. Buying time. Heard the name. Trial buzz. Lie smooth as cream. Ruiz leaned in, voice low. Your tips check out. IP traces to a paralegal. One Lisa Harper. Ring bells now. My grip tightened on the mug.
Harper.
She'd taken Mark's name like a trophy. Ring loud, I said, voice steady. She was on the defense team. Planted the seeds. I slid a USB across, copy of the contingency drive. Sanitized. Start here. Offshore links to current filings. His eyebrows arched.
Pocketing it.
This blows it open. But why anonymous? You were the fall guy statutes run, but civil suits. Family, I cut in. Son works there. Grandbaby on the way. Ruiz whistled low. Collateral. Messy.
Messy.
The audit of life. We parted with handshakes, him promising warrants by week's end. Me vowing silence. But as I drove back, windshield wipers slapping rhythm. Alibis formed. If Lisa traced the tip, I'd claim insomnia emails. Dotage defense. Home was a powder keg. Lisa's car in the drive, early return. I entered through the garage, quiet as a ghost. Voices from the office. Hers. Shrill. Phone.
Tinny.
Harlan. I told you she's unhinged. Digging through boxes.
Pause.
Burn them? Already did. Last night. Shredder in the vault. Shredder. My backups.
Ash.
Rage boiled. But I breathed down, inputs controlled. I coughed loud. Announcing. Footsteps, she appeared. Phone pocketed. Smile stapled. Evelyn, how was the doc?
Clean bill, I lied.
Hanging coat. Yours, she waved it off. Client no-show. Want tea? Chamomile calms the nerves. Nerves. Hers. Frayed like wire. We sat at the kitchen table. Steam rising. Small talk a minefield. Baby's active today, she said. Hand on belly. Kicks like she's solving equations already. Equation.
Bait.
I smiled. Stirring. Smart girl. Runs in the family. Her eyes flickered. Trap sprung? Speaking of. Mark mentioned your old job. Numbers. Right? Ever miss it? Every day, I replied. Gaze level. The truth in them. A silence stretched. Taut as piano wire. Then, her laugh, shatter. Truth's subjective. Evelyn. Court taught me that.
Check.
I nodded.
Sipping.
So did prison. Mark burst in at 6:15. Wind blown from the highway. Traffic apocalypse. Hugs. Kisses. The facade snapping back. Dinner was pot roast, my recipe. Lisa's execution. Tough as grudges. Conversation veered to nursery rhymes. I excused early. Basement refuge. There, the real audit began. I'd anticipated the burn. Copied key files to cloud Dropbox. Password with Tom's birthday. Spreadsheet updated. AG warrant probability 78%. Lisa exposure 92%. But variables multiplied. Mark's loyalty. A wild card. I needed his angle. Confront or convert. Midnight brought the creaks again. Upstairs tussle. Words muffled. But she knows too much. Mark. We have to. His voice. Sharp. Stop. Mom's been through hell. Let her heal.
Heal.
If only. But the we lingered complicit? Tuesday blurred. Library VPN for AG follow-up. Ruiz texted burner. Files gold. Raids Thursday. Stay dark.
Dark.
My specialty. At home, Lisa thawed further, inviting me to yoga. For the stress. I declined, citing knees, but joined her for lunch at a cafe on Jordan Creek Parkway. Over salads. She probed gentle. Evelyn.
About the store.
I was a bitch. Insecure. Maybe. You intimidate me with your smarts. Intimidate. Flattery. Or fear. You're the rock, I said, forking lettuce. Mark's lucky. Her smile. Genuine crack. We all are. Family fixes things. Fixes. Like fraud. Wednesday. Tension coiled. Mark worked remote. Hold in the office. Lisa paced. Phone glued. I cleaned. Dusting shelves. Ears perked. A call overheard. Harlan. Warrants? No. False alarm. But her. Yeah. Relocate the accounts. Relocate.
To where?
My mind raced. New shells. Deeper nests. Evening. Storm front rolled in. Lightning etching the sky. Power flickered during Jeopardy. Mark joked about generators. Lisa white-knuckled her glass. Old house in Chicago had surges, she said. Eyes on me. Chicago, her pre-Mark life. Harlan's orbit. I nodded. Casual. Storms pass. Not this one. At 2 a.m., thunder masked the safe's click, upstairs. Her silhouette in flashlight glow. I crept up. Shadow to shadow. She extracted cash, bundles. $10,000 easy, stuffing into a go-bag under the bed. Escape fund. My hand itched for the knife block in the kitchen. But no, audit first.
Dawn.
I tailed her to work, truck parked blocks away. Binoculars from Tom's hunting days. Voss Enterprises, glass tower gleaming wet. She entered. Bag slung. Emerged 2 hours later. Paler. Home by noon. She feigned migraine. Bedbound. Mark doted soup.
Forehead butts.
I watched from door. Equation balancing. Her fear. My fuel. That night. Alibis shattered. Dinner table. Mark's phone buzzed. Voss alert. All staff. Audit tomorrow. Routine. Lisa's fork clattered.
What? Now?
He shrugged. Probably nothing. But her eyes met mine. Accusation. Terror. Post-meal. Confrontation brewed. She cornered me in the laundry. Evelyn. Level with me. The tips you're doing? Denial ready. But I countered. Why? Afraid of math. Her slap, cracked fast, palm to cheek. Sting blooming. You bitch. After everything. Mark's voice from hall. Lisa? She whirled. Composure snapping. Nothing. Sock sorting. He bought it. Retreating. Alone. She hissed. Call it off. Or the baby pays.
B.
The line crossed. Red ink. I touched my cheek.
Warm.
Math doesn't negotiate. Her retreat.
Defeated.
Thursday loomed. Raid day. I slept sound. Dreams of balanced books. The raid hit at 9:17 a.m. Precise as a timestamp. I was in the basement, feigning laundry, whites churning in the ancient Maytag, when the roar of engines swelled outside. Sirens muted. But tires crunched gravel, doors slammed like judgments. Upstairs, Lisa's gasp pierced the floor. Mark. FBI, get the lawyer. Chaos erupted, shouts. Feet pounding. Mark's bewildered. What the hell? I ascended slow.
Baisse ton hip.
The innocent matriarch. Through the banister. Tableau. 6 agents in windbreakers. Badges flashing. Rifles slung low. Led Ruiz. Notebook swapped for warrant. Lisa Harper. You're under arrest for fraud. Obstruction. Conspiracy. Hands where I can see 'em. She backed against the island, belly prominent. Face ashen. This is insane. I'm pregnant, call my client. Mark stepped forward. Hands up. Agents. Wait, Lisa's counsel here. What's the charge? Ruiz's gaze flicked to me. Brief nod. Ally acknowledged. Midland, 2003 Redux. Offshore laundering. Forged docs. Your mom's tip started it. Mark's head snapped. Mom? Lisa lunged then. Manic. She's lying. Evelyn framed me. Payback for the fall. Agents cuffed her. Gentle but firm. Mirandizing in monotone. She twisted. Eyes locking mine, venom pure. You did this. For what? Your precious numbers? I met it calm.
Basket steady.
Balance.
Lisa.
Long overdue. They let her out. Belly waddling in defeat. Mark trailing like a ghost. I'll post bail. Call Harlan. Her plea echoed as the door shut. Silence crashed. Heavy. Mark rounded on me. Face crumpling.
Mom. Why?
You knew. I set the basket down. White spilling like surrender. Knew? I lived it.
Son.
She planted the lies, your job, our life. Built on my cage. His knees buckled. He sank to a stool. Head in hands. She said. It was Harlan.
Solo.
I believed. Believed. The fracture. Full split. We sat amid the wreckage, her tea mug shattered. Go bag unzipped on the floor. Cash fluttering. I brewed coffee. Black. Handed him a cup. The math added up wrong from the start. Offshore accounts same as '03. I tipped anonymous.
For you.
For Grace.
Grace.
The name hung.
Tether.
He sipped. Eyes red. Grace. God.
Mom.
What now?
Now.
The blood balance. Her fall. His fracture. Bail her? Fight it. I shook head. Truth outs.
Mark.
AG's got everything, USB. Ledgers. Her calls to Harlan Jr., he paled. Harlan Jr.? He signed my bonus. Contingency, I said soft. You're clean. She wasn't. Lies, half. His deposits clean. But ignorance, no shield. Agents returned, search warrant for the house. They combed office. Safe. Even basement. Ruiz pulled me aside in the garage. Good work. Evelyn. Charges stick, 20 minimum.
No plea.
Minimum. Her world. Crumbling. Mark paced foyer as they worked. Phone blowing up, Voss HR. Harlan Jr.'s assistant. Mr. Harper. Leave of absence recommended. Recommended. Pink slip in velvet. He hurled the phone. It skidded across tile. My career, gone. For her lies, rage turned to me. You destroyed us. Destroyed. The word landed. Barb deep. Saved you. Maybe. From her web. He laughed.
Bitter.
Web. We were happy. Baby coming. House.
Life.
Life. Built on sand. Agents cleared by noon. House stripped, laptop seized. Files bagged. Lisa's arraignment set for Friday. Bail denied. Flight risk. Mark stormed out. To his parents, no. My old house?
No.
A hotel. He texted. Need space. Don't call.
Space.
The void widened. Alone. The house echoed, her perfume lingering. Baby booties in the hall. I cleaned methodically, vacuuming cash scraps, wiping counters. Balance restored. But blood? It seeped. Afternoon brought calls, neighbors whispering, old colleagues emailing support. Knew she was shady. Schadenfreude. Sweet as pie. Evening. The real bleed. Tom's photo on mantle. Eyes accusing. Vengeance.
Ev.
I traced his frame. Justice.
Tom.
Close enough. But sleep evaded. Visions of Lisa in orange. Belly swelling in a cell. Controversial. Her crime mine by proxy. Through Mark. Mothers-in-law as monsters. Headlines waiting. Friday. Courthouse in Des Moines. Limestone facade mocking mercy. I sat gallery rear. Anonymous in crowd of reporters. Gawkers. Lisa entered. Cuffs hidden. Lawyer outside. Public defender. Overworked. Arraignment. Charges read. Fraud litany. She pleaded not guilty. Voice steady. Victim of vendetta. Evelyn Harper. Ex-con with grudge. Flashbulbs popped. Mark absent. Judge set trial date, January. Post-holidays. Released on monitor pending. House arrest. Back to the McMansion. Ankle bracelet beeping welcome. Mark returned too. Hollow-eyed. Suit rumpled. For the baby, he explained. Avoiding my gaze. Truce.
Tense.
Days devolved. Lisa confined to home. Raging via glares. You happy now? Ruined us. I'd smile. Brewing decaf. Numbers equal.
Dear.
Mark mediated. Shrinking. Work suspended. He tempied at a call center, voicing scripts. Voice flat. Weeks ground. Thanksgiving loomed. Turkey thawing in fridge. Family dinner? Lisa's mother flew in, Karen. Bottle red hair. Denial her armor. My girl's innocent. Setup. Clash with me over pie crust. Mark escaped to the garage. Smoking. Habit resurrected. Black Friday. I shopped alone. Hy-Vee again. Coupons clipped. No mockery this time. Whispers followed. That's her. The tipster. Power. Heady. Cart full. Checkout smooth. Card swiped.
$42 17 cenți exact.
Home. Feast prep. Yams candied. Rolls rising. Karen cornered me in pantry. You snake. Lisa's fragile. Baby stress. Fragile. I dusted flour from hands. So was I. In '03. Fragile breaks. Dinner detonated. Toast choked. Karen's accusations flying. Evelyn framed her, jealous hag. Mark slammed fork. Enough. Mom saved me from. Whatever. Whatever. The blood words. Lisa wept. I did it for us, for Mark. The life.
Confession?
Slip. Post-meal stupor. Karen gone. Mark and I wash dishes. She admitted, he whispered. I nodded. For you. His face crumpled. I loved her.
Mom.
Still do. Question. Not statement. Night deepened. I retreated. Ledger closed for now. But blood balanced uneven. Grace kicking inside. Innocent ledger. December crept in like a debtor. Cold winds rattling windows. Holidays looming as indictments. The house was a pressure cooker. Lisa on monitor. Confined to couch and kitchen. Her empire reduced to Netflix queues and prenatal vitamins. Mark oscillated. Nights holding her. Days staring at want ads. His reflection in the fridge door hollowed by 2 a.m. Feedings of doubt.
Me?
The ghost in the machine. Stirring soup. Folding onesies. Waiting for the equation to resolve. Grace arrived early, December 12th. 3:47 a.m. A squall of rain lashing the panes. Lisa's water broke during a contraction wave. Mark panicked. Fumbling keys. Mom. Hospital bag. I grabbed it from the closet. Diapers.
Gowns.
The contingency envelope I'd slipped in. Printouts of her charges. For when she asks why Grandma's sad. Full. Calculated.
Awaited eternal.
Fluorescent buzz mocking labor pains. Lisa gripped my hand, sweat slick. Surprising. Evelyn. Hate me, but stay. I nodded, squeezing back. Hates bad math. Hours blurred. Pushes. Curses. Mark white-knuckled in the hall. Then, cry sharp. Demanding. Grace Marie Harper. 6 pounds 7 ounces. Fists balled like verdicts. I held her first, after Lisa's exhausted coo. Tiny, furious eyes mine, Tom's, or Harlan's ghost. She's perfect, I whispered. Inhaling new life scent, powder and promise. Mark teared up, kissing foreheads. Truce. Temporary. Homecoming was a minefield. Bassinet in the nursery. Blue walls mocking serenity. Lisa nursed in shifts. Body a battlefield. Mark burped and bounced. Sleep deprived. I played auxiliary midnight bottles. Laundry runs. The steady hand. But undercurrent surged. Her glares when I rocked Grace. Whispers to Mark. She poisoned this. Somehow. Christmas Eve.
Snow blanquette des moines.
Muffling the world. Tree trimmed sparse, ornaments from my era. Tinsel frayed. Gifts wrapped, for Grace. A silver rattle engraved balance, for Mark. A ledger journal. Blank pages for new starts, for Lisa. A calculator, tactless. Or truth. She unwrapped it silent. Face stone.
Q.
Evelyn. Real cute. Dinner. Ham-glazed honey. Potatoes mashed with guilt. Toasts clinked, Mark slurred. To family. Fractured. But fixed. Fixed. Lisa's eyes met mine over candle flicker. Challenge. Later. As carols droned Bing Crosby. She cornered me in the kitchen. Drop the charges. For her. Grace gurgled from the swing. Charges drop me? I wiped counters. Circular. 12 years.
Lisa.
Tom's grave cold. Her lip quivered. Genuine? I was young. Harlan pushed, said it'd secure Mark's future. Future. Stolen. Future's now, I said. Grace deserves clean books. She deflated. Hand on belly scar.
Please.
Vendetta's over. Over? The equation unborn. Trial in January. Her freedom fragile. New Year's brought resolutions rotten. Mark landed part-time at a CPA firm, irony's gift, commuting to Ames. Lisa's monitor beeped compliance. Therapy mandated. Sessions where she processed trauma. I eavesdropped once. Evelyn's the monster. Destroyed my life. Monster. Mirror held. Grace thrived, colic fading. Smiles blooming like interest. I'd babysit afternoons. Her gurgles filling voids. One day, as she gummed my finger, Mark watched from door. You're good with her.
Mom.
Better than me. Better. The bind. Love her. Lose him? January 15th. Trial commenced. Polk County Courthouse. Galleries packed with true crime tourists. I testified first. Calm. Clinical. The forgeries, IP from her terminal. Ledgers don't lie.
Defense pantid me bilen, bitter ex con.
Grudge eternal. Cross-exam. MS. Harper. Your son's marriage. Convenient ruin. I met eyes. Convenient was her lies. Lisa took stand. Tear-streaked. I protected my family.
Evelyn S. Tips, Schlender.
But evidence mounted. USB dumps. Call logs. Harlan Jr.'s plea deals spilling beans. Lisa orchestrated the plant, he testified. Via video from witness protection. For Daddy's sake, and her cut. Jury deliberated 3 days, snowstorm raging outside. Verdict. Guilty. All counts. Sentence. 18 years. Minimum security. Maternity wing till Grace weaned. Lisa's scream echoed halls. You win. Evelyn. But Grace, she'll know your poison. Mark crumbled in the parking lot. Snow soaking slacks. 18 years. Our daughter. Without her. Without. I hugged him. Awkward. She'll have us.
Us.
Fractured formula. Spring thawed the ground, but not us. Lisa transferred north. Visit scheduled. Mark sued for divorce, irreconcilable. The papers said. Grace crawled, then walked. Her first steps in the living room. Mark cheering hoarse. I watched. Ledger and lap. Inputs, betrayal. Prison. Outputs, justice. Custody. Balanced? Summer brought Harlan Jr.'s fall, indicted on federal RICO. Voss dissolved. Mark's firm promoted him. Irony full circle. Grace babbled Nana, tugging my hair.
Joy.
Jagged. But equations haunt. One night. Grace feverish. Mark out. I dosed Tylenol. Rocked her. Phone buzzed. Burner. Ruiz. Lisa's appealing. Claims coercion your son. Coercion. The twist uncoiling. Fall again. Grace's second birthday. Cake smeared. Laughter light. Mark dated, a teacher. Kind-eyed. Progress. But appeal hearing loomed. Then, the blood equation. Lisa's letter. Smuggled via guard. Evelyn, Grace needs her mother. Drop it. Or I tell Mark everything. Everything. The buried zero. Mark's signature on a 2003 memo. Minor. But complicit. I'd shielded him. Forged his alibi in my mind. Unborn no more. Confront. Or conceal. The letter burned a hole in my apron pocket. Creases worn from rereads. Lisa's script looping like nooses. Everything. The word decimaled my days, slicing meals into fractions. Grace's giggles halved by dread. Mark noticed the drift. Mom? You okay? Distant. Distant. A gulf widening. Grace's third birthday passed in blur. Pink balloons. A pony ride at the fairgrounds. Her chubby hands sticky with cotton candy. Mark's girlfriend, Sarah, baked the cake, carrot, spiced with cinnamon. Her laugh easy as summer rain. She fit.
שופטני נג'סי דה שרפנat.
Evelyn, you're a natural, she said, wiping frosting from Grace's chin. Natural. If only decimals divided truth. Appeal hearing set for October 10th. Polk County again. Leaves turning traitor outside. I drove alone. Mark minding Grace, his choice. Too raw.
Raw.
The courthouse smelled of polish and regret. Galleries thinner this round. Lisa entered changed, hair chopped short. Prison pallor. But eyes sharp as audits. Her lawyer, slick from Chicago, called me first. MS. Harper, your tips, motivated by more than justice. Motivated. I straightened, voice level. By truth. Her crimes, my fall. But then, the bomb. And your son's involvement? The memo he signed, approving the plant. Gasps rippled, flashbulbs popped. Mark's memo. I'd buried it deep. A decimal point shifted to 0. Objection. My counsel, pro bono from AG leaped. But damage decimaled. Whispers of cover-up. My bias. Lisa testified next. Composed. Evelyn knew about Mark, shielded him to control us. Vendetta.
Pure.
Control. The divide cracked open. Recess brought calls. Mark. Frantic. Mom? What's this memo shit? I pulled over in the lot. Engine idling. Old news.
Son.
You were green, didn't know.
Lie.
Half. He'd signed off on creative entries, Lisa's whisper in his ear. I trusted her, he groaned. Us. Hearing adjourned. Appeal granted new trial, evidence suppression. My conflicted testimony tossed. Lisa walked. Monitor removed. Pending retrial in 27. Victory hers. Pyrrhic. She called that night blocked number. Voice syrup over steel. Told you. Drop it. Or Grace learns Nana's secrets. Secrets. The divide deepened. Tell Mark. Risk fracture. Conceal. Invite her web. November elections buzzed. Harlan Jr. Indicted. Running from feds. Mark's promotion stalled, firm wary of scandal taint. He leaned on Sarah. Nights out at dive bars. Returning whiskey breathed. Grace sensed it. Tantrums flaring. Daddy sad. I'd soothe with stories. Tom's math tricks. Equations as magic. Thanksgiving tested. Sarah hosted. Neutral ground. Turkey carved. Yams sweet. Lisa uninvited. But her shadow loomed. Text to Mark. Miss my girl. Your mom poisoning. Poison. He deleted. But tension decimaled the pie. Winter gripped. Snowdrifts barricading. Grace's preschool play nativity. Her as sheep. Woolly and beaming. Mark filmed. Sarah beside. I clapped from rear. Heart fractioned. Post-show cider. He pulled me aside. Mom. The memo. Did I screw up? Screw. Youth's alibi. You were played, I said. Cup steaming. Like me. Forgiveness flickered. His hand on shoulder. We're good. Good. Decimal truce. Christmas brought bomb. Lisa's petition for visitation, court-ordered. Supervised. First meet. Des Moines Park. January 5th. Benches iced. Grace bundled. Mittens lost. Lisa arrived early, coat loose. No bump now. Eyes hungry. Baby, she cooed, arms out. Grace shrank to my leg. Stranger. Stranger. The divide visceral. Supervised by social worker. They sat swings, Lisa pushing gentle. Stories spilling. Mommy's coming back. Grace nodded. Wary. Mark watched stone-faced. I gripped railing. Post-hour. Her whisper to him. Fight for me. Or lose us all.
Us.
The equation divided. Grace's tears that night. Mommy's sad.
Sad.
I rocked her. Decimals dissolving. Spring retrial loomed. But twists decimaled. Harlan Jr. Flipped full. Tapes of Lisa's calls. Finish what Dad started. Evidence mountain. But her counter. My prison instability. Psych eval leaked. Depression. Delusional grudges. Delusional. The media frenzy. In-law war. Numbers or neurosis? Summer scorched. Grace's pool parties. Splashes cooling divides. Sarah proposed to Mark. Ring simple. Gold. Engagement dinner. Steak at Hy-Vee Club. Ironic. Toasts. To new equations.
New.
But Lisa's shadow. Visitation weekly. Her bond with Grace thickening braids. Lullabies. Fall harvest. Crisis crested. Court date September 20th. Retrial. Morning of. Mark confessed over coffee. I signed the memo.
Mom.
Knew it was shady. Thought it'd help Dad's firm. For us.
Us.
The zero unburied.
Son.
Words failed. Decimals zeroing. Why hide?
Fear.
Of losing you to shame.
Shame.
We hugged. Fractures mended fractional. Trial. Lisa's defense crumbled, tapes damning. Verdict. Guilty. 12 years. Time served partial credit. Sentence. Transfer immediate. Her scream. Mark. Grace. He stood. Walked out. Door slam final. Visitation ended. Divorce finalized. Grace asked once. Mommy gone?
Gone.
On a long trip.
Sweetie.
But Nana's here. Here. The divide bridged. Barely. But decimals linger. Her letters from cell. You won. But blood's thicker.
Thicker.
Grace's eyes.
Questioning.
Autumn waned into winter's grip. Des Moines blanketed in frost that etched windows like accusations unresolved. Grace turned 4 in the new house, Mark and Sarah's. A craftsman on the east side, with a yard for swings and secrets buried shallow. The party was modest, balloons bobbing, cake layered chocolate, her laughter a dividend on pains paid. I watched from the porch, mugs steaming, the final sum tallying, inputs of betrayal tallied against outputs of fragile peace. Lisa's appeals exhausted, Federal Circuit denied. Harlan Jr.'s tapes ironclad. She settled into Alderson. Low security in West Virginia. Letters sporadic. Pleas for Grace visits. Then recriminations. Finally silence. Mark burned one batch in the fire pit. Flames devouring witch and ruin. Enough, he said. Poker prodding embers. Sarah nodded. Hand on his steady. The variable that balanced. Grace started kindergarten. Backpack oversized. Pigtails swinging. Drop-offs became ritual. Mark's truck idling. Her kiss blown from the door. Love you. Nana.
Love.
The sum surplus. Evenings. She'd help me balance checkbooks. Tiny fingers on calculator. 1 + 1. Nana? 1 + 1 = 2. Or whole. But finals haunt. One night, March 2026. Grace fever dreamed, mumbling, "Mommy bad?" I stroked hair.
Damp.
"Mommy's sick."
Sweetie.
"Getting better." "Better." Lies remainder. Mark overheard from hall. Eyes shadowed. "She dreams of her?"
Dreams fix, I said. Fix.
He joined us on the couch. Grace curled between. "Dad, tell the numbers story." "Numbers?" His voice rumbled. "Once, a lady found wrong sums, big ones, like stealing stars. She fixed them, even when it hurt."
Hurt.
Grace slept. We lingered. Silence summing. Spring bloomed verdant. Sarah's belly swelling. Boy due July. Tom Jr., traditions echo. Baby shower at the park. Quilt stitched by my hand. Equations embroidered in thread. Lisa's mother attended, Karen. Thawed fractional.
She's
"Adjusting," she said over punch. "Adjusting." We clinked glasses. Truce tacit. July 4th. Fireworks over the Capitol. Booms echoing '03 raids.
Grace with
Sparkler in fist. Mark grilled brats. Sarah fanning. My gift, a locket for Grace. Inside photo me. Young. With Tom and baby Mark. "Keepsake some," I whispered. She hugged fierce. But the final twist uncoiled slow. August letter. Lisa's hand shaky. Evelyn dying. Cancer.
late.
Prison docs say months. Tell Grace.
Sorry.
And you one fair.
Fair.
Sums question mark. I showed Mark. He paled. Crumpled it. Liar's last play? Or truth? I drove to Alderson, cleared visit. Supervised. Facility gray.
Barbed.
Lisa entered.
Gown chimobite.
Eyes hollowed. Came to gloat.
Gloat. No.
Closure, I said. Closure. She laughed. Cough-racked. Math wins. But Grace, my half. Half. We talked hours. Her youth. Harlan's grip. Mark's charm blinding. Loved him. Still. Still. Confessions carry over. Grace asks, I admitted. Says you're an angel now. Angel. Her tears. Tell her. Numbers forgive. Forgive. The sum shifted. She died October 3rd. Pneumonia hastening. Funeral small. Mark absent. Karen eulogizing. I went. Sat rear. Summing her ledger. Crimes columned. But decimals of desperation. Back home. Told Grace gentle. Mommies with stars now. Watching. Watching. She nodded. Drew a picture, 3 figures. Hands linked. Years decimal, Grace 10. Braces, gleaming. Algebra acing. Mark's firm partner. Sarah's Tom Jr. Toddling. Sundays. Puzzles at my table, jigsaws of coasts. Pieces fitting reluctant. Nana. Why numbers? Grace asked once. Pencil paused. Because they tell stories, I said. Stories. Ours added up messy, but equal. Equal. The final sum. Revenge's remainder 0? Or infinite debate. Justice or jugular. I plunged once. Blade deep, now. Ledgers close. But whispers linger. Was I avenger or architect? Right? Or ruined? Grace smiled. Solving X. Messy good. Good. The equation ends open. Readers divide. Hero's hook. Or villain's vice. In the end, math doesn't judge. We do.